Back at the con, we're hunting for random 90s action figures. Stick around to the end of the video and we'll do a showcase to show you exactly what we brought home.
We're heading in, ready for day 2. Alright, so this was the first real booth we hit. It was just good to rifle through boxes again, I feel like. I mean, you still end up like, yeah, I could really use hand sanitizing, but it was just so good to look through people's stuff again and just be shopping for toys. And where else but cons are you going to find this obscure stuff like... What is that, a VR Trooper or something like that?
So we got Two-Face. Is that Bucky O'Hare?
I do not know.
Something from that line. I don't know.
Generator Rex or something like that?
Now, there's another thing that sold really good. These super dinosaurs.
Spiggy.
Alf.
Oh, Alf. Man, I don't really collect plush, but that's cool. I remember these too from Pizza Hut, Land Before Time.
Yeah.
I still like the villains from things, so having a vastly out-of-scale Sharptooth just seems like a good idea. Batley from Eureka's Castle, which I must have missed that because he was my favorite growing up. I saw Magellan, but I did not see Batley until just now. What was that?
Is that a biker mice?
Biker mice from Mars.
I spotted some Wild Stallions figures that were pretty interesting. They're kind of stylized, though. I would rather have like a more lifelike figure of them, but it's kind of cool. Wild Stallions!
Did you end up watching the new one?
No, not yet.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
I would want to find it for a better price than that, but I do kind of want one of those.
So is this new coming out, or is this
no,
like
it's
come and
old
gone?
And people
Really?
missed it, and that's why it's
It's got
expensive.
the sign. That's so cool.
It's a good spot, though. It's just more than I want to spend.
And Marvel Legends. Oh, this is where I had my first score. But yeah, I really wanted to flesh out my Marvel villains. And Kang had sort of come and gone, but he was still sort of relevant. And I was so happy to find him in this bin. Actually, I might get this. He's got his gun. He's got his replaceable hand. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab this.
Cool.
I knew I had to snap him up. I was really glad to get him. I was surprised by how much of the we were seeing the Disney Plus wave.
What odd prices at this booth? 22, 23. Normally everyone just rounds up to the nearest $5.
Never saw that Gambit in stores. Thanks, Target.
I'm always on the hunt for the horror figures, and a lot of times they're priced higher than I want to pay for them, but I did spot the Victor Crowley figure. Pretty hideous.
Here's Jason's mom. And this is only $35. This must be like a new version.
Got the vintage Inspector Gadget figures.
It is vintage.
Yep. With his safety tips, if somebody tries to touch you in an area that makes you feel frightened or uncomfortable, say no. Then go and tell a grown-up you trust what happened. Remember, in any case, play it safe by saying
That
no.
itself should tell you it's vintage.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping to find, I don't know, I really could use a couple of pieces from Penny and Brain, and then there's, I think, like a henchman with Ebola or something, but this is where I'm just checking out the little safety tips that they had on the back of the box, and it's sort of one of those deals. I have the Inspector Gadget with a bluish gray coat, and that's good enough for me. I don't really, as much as I loved all the gimmicks of the other ones, you know, I just don't need a yellow one or a magenta one. That being said, if I saw them for a couple of bucks, I would have grabbed them. Rummaging through the 90s bins.
Anything interesting?
Nothing. Oh, here you go. Here's a... Look how nice. I mean, he looks pretty good, all things considered. Oh. Wait. Oh.
If only we didn't already have like 3.
I think I was spotting this Jurassic Park little sign. Thought it was cool, but passed it over.
My good friends have they have that on their dog cage, the little electric fence sign, and it's very appropriate for the little guy. Cooper has a lot of energy, and we love him. Back in the Legends, I was really looking for some more of the Spider-Mans. Now all the classics and the retro wave, some of the better characters are coming out. Abomination's arm. That would look really cool with pyro even. You know how like in the arcade game you would like shoot birds out? Nope. So, Lizard's tail. Or did you see like the superheroes?
No, I was just distracted by Hulk 181.
How much? I don't see anything.
You'd have to ask. Did you bring a couple $1,000? There's Secret Wars Wolverine there on the top.
There's even got his little hologram with it. Wasn't it like holographic or something?
If only he had his claws.
It's always so refreshing seeing, quote, girls' toys.
Yeah, this is one of those tables that always has a lot of pink stuff. So not to be stereotypical, but this kind of stuff catches my eye more than anything. And I'm not really a collector of like strawberry shortcake or Care Bears, but it's fun to look through this stuff. I'm more of a Polly Pocket kind of a girl, and we don't really find those very often. If we do, they're generally overpriced. There's some Care Bears stuff. I never had a Care Bear when I was a kid. My sister did, though. They're still cute. Not worth $6.
So we've got a couple bins of some older Lego here. Some kind of helicopter. Some Marvel and Star Wars kind of mixed in. The Avengers. Lord of the Rings. There's
geez.
Gollum.
Yeah, the Hobbit sets. They need to churn some more of those out. Well, I hope they still have the license.
We've got a T-Rex pre-Jurassic Park.
They made Ben 10 sets? I had no idea.
That almost looks like Thomas the Tank Engine, but it's not.
Make it happen, Lego.
Here's one that caught my eye. It looks like something from when I was a kid. And for only $5, I thought that was pretty cool.
So where would you have gotten a set like that from? Was it like Ames, Kmart?
Probably Hills.
I don't even know what Hills is.
Like Ames.
Oh. All the old pirate sets.
In a bin next to that, there were some of these. I think they're called Little People, but I definitely had like a house, like a playhouse, with these, and some of that furniture is like super nostalgic. That's the fun part about the con, is you can always find stuff that you had when you were a kid that you don't remember you had until you see it.
And the crash test dummies. It was so good seeing these in box. I didn't realize there were that many. I knew that I had one of the crash cars, and I had that like torture chamber set. Yeah, and then just to see like a whole case of them. You know, we had Spare Tire, and we had like the tall one. Never had the baby. We just had the shorter, stouter one. We had the taller, thinner one, and I think we had two of the crash cars. And we had the dog and the cat that you could run over with cars. I always felt like the bigger one you couldn't have as much fun with. His eyes and ears popped out, whereas the other ones like physically ejected all their limbs. I just have no memory of them even on cards. We tore them open, and just seeing this blue one, I had no idea some of these existed. I think we pull out some villains later, and I'm like, I didn't know there were villains to the crash test dummies other than, not wearing your seatbelt. Right there, where I'm looking at, I still am like, who's Piston Head? That doesn't even look like a crash test dummy, but man, he looks awesome.
Piston Head, Larry, and Spare Tire.
Like, look at all of them. That had to be like some Wave 2, the Chaos Effect equivalent of... There's airplanes? All this stuff I had no idea.
Everyone's favorite Rogue. And they love to talk about the quality of her face nowadays, but here was the face from the 90's Rogue.
And I feel like she was such a big step. They had the Storms in the black, and they did a silver and a white, but to get a Rogue, it was such a big step, and then have her repainted into that weird Polaris.
So here's all the Secret Wars. So the 80's version of the X-Men figures. This was an interesting tub here where everything was super shrink-wrapped. So we've got Krang from the Turtles.
There's Bosk, and everything was just vacuum sealed. You see the guns like bending around his back.
Cyclops.
Yeah, good luck finding the modern one. Professor X. Swoosh. And back to the loose items.
They can breathe. Some of them. There's a Beetlejuice there. Right?
There he is. That's the exploding one. We actually returned this to the store when we bought it because mine, the clip wouldn't hold it, and he would keep not holding together. So we returned this one. I like the colors, but we didn't keep it.
How much is he?
Don't see any prices. So no.
Put it on the maybe pile.
I can't believe they have waist articulation.
We got the Yellow Ranger here with the head flip morphing action. Remember, my brother had found the green one a long time ago in a park, and we thought they were so cool.
Oh, she's got a sister. It's morphin' time.
They battled.
Ah.
I like that he's poking his head out as the dinosaur is leaning down. It's just, you'd think he'd be ducking or something.
Bad timing for him to hop out of the cab to be eaten.
So do you have... I can't remember if you had an original penguin. You had the blue bow tie one, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you had the
Is
blue
that
one from
15?
up. Sure looks like it.
Yeah, we'll put that in the maybe pile.
He looks really good.
We'll see how much he wants for it.
Okay.
We had the football player as a kid, but we had lost his back panel. So just seeing the eyes after all these years was really cool. This booth had a lot of really cool stuff. Disney characters, Muppets, things like that. And it was a little misleading because, you'd see the bag and think, oh, I'm buying this lot. And then you look at the bag and it's like, oh, well, they're $5 each inside. So
Yeah, if that whole Aladdin bag had been $5,
Yeah.
that would have been pretty good.
You probably build out the whole movie from that alone.
90s stickers.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I thought it was Star Wars.
please someone tell me, who is this Simpsons character? He's holding a box. I've seen so many of the classic episodes. I don't know who that character is. He's holding a box. Everyone's in camping gear. Did he sell him the RV? No, that was a dude with a cowboy hat. I don't know who that guy is.
Superman looks hungover.
Blue Catwoman, red and blue Catwoman, giant head cat Batgirl.
Is that the original Joker from the animated series?
No, he would have had the purple.
Oh,
That might have been the
there's
one with like
blue,
like the pogo stick or something, maybe. So I think it's Daryl, the equivalent of. He was the tall, slender one to balance out Spare Tire's short and stout one. And it's just, you couldn't really eject their limbs, but you could still take them off. Going through a lot of loose Lego figures and.
Yeah, this was a nice little bag of minifigures. It was nice that the seller said we could mix the pieces up, if we needed to swap heads or anything like that, we could.
So, of course, I put Darth Maul's head on the cavalry officer's body.
I do wish I kind of bought some of those basic faces, like from the 80s, where they were yellow and they just had like a smile and nothing else.
Those were simple times. Now he's perfect. He's got a little bow and arrow.
So this is my niece and nephew, Jonathan and Corinne. Jonathan was cosplaying as
Emmett from the Lego Movie. And then we have his sister Corinne as Sweet Mayhem. And this was a really cool booth for import stuff. My friend Savannah's really into Japanese idols, and I have some friends into Nintendo, and see Hamtaro, see Animal Crossing. I really liked checking this booth out. And there's a Digimon. I'm always so glad to see Digimon. It's always at one booth or two booths, and to see vintage Bandai Digimon figures. I'm actually planning on doing some reviews of some newer figures, so stay tuned for that in the future.
Here we've got a whole mess of Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures. Let's take a look at what we brought home.
It's just so therapeutic and so great getting out to these cons, and after all this time of not being able to do it, it was just so good seeing all this stuff again.
We made a few other videos about this con visit. Feel free to check those out and let us know in the comments what item you would have bought that we didn't take home. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.